Hi, my name is Leah Day, and I'm here with my husband Josh, and we are working on the building blocks quilt-along. Today Josh is stitching out grid lines in one of our building blocks. So let's see how it goes.
Okay, as you can see, I've already made my outlines and stitched through the ditch, and I'm going to proceed down through here, going down like this, coming back up and around.
So knocking out that big 1-inch grids first.
Yep.
Now we've done a lot of straight lines so far this year. Pretty much every block we've done has had at least one day of straight lines, one design of straight lines. So at this point you've done this 4 times. How are you liking these straight lines at this point?
Straight lines are definitely the easiest and most basic free motion stitching, at least for me.
Excellent.
And this is going to take a while, so I'm going to try to speed things up here a little bit and not stop so often.
Okay. Now the one thing about not stopping, especially when you're turning a corner, sometimes if you are just trying to kind of change direction very rapidly, what can happen is instead of stitching like a sharp corner or a sharp point, you can end up making a curve. And I haven't seen that happen so far, so this is doing really, really well. But that's something to keep in mind. Sometimes we think, oh, I'm going to just kind of speed up and fly through this. But sometimes the kind of side effect of that can be a little less sharpness in our points and corners. I really like your path. That really knocked out that whole area actually more efficiently, I think, than I did. So that was really good.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the most efficient
Path.
and logical path to eliminate unnecessary travel stitching.
I think that's everybody's goal. No one likes the travel stitching. So at this point, why don't we speed up the video so everybody can just kind of see you stitch through this and the path that you choose. So this will be the first time we're really working on the diagonal. I'm interested to see how this feels to you.
Well, cutting the first path was pretty easy, but you can see it's right down the middle, so no surprise there.
How have you liked the line so far? We've stitched through almost half this block and just now getting into the really dense areas.
Well, it's very basic and easy so far. This, of course, changes the game.
It's just really tight.
Oh yeah, it's definitely doable. This scale, I think I wouldn't go anything, drop down any further. Of course, we have 1/8 inch coming up. But this one's tight, but it's doable.
Well, one of the cheats that I shared in my video was that you don't have to stitch on every line if you don't want to. when we get down to the 1/8 inch area, you know, you could stitch every other line instead of every single one if you wanted to make it a little easier for yourself.
Now that is a nice sheet, and I'll definitely be taking advantage of that.
Okay, excellent. I like how you're creating basically these rectangles as you stitch through here.
Yeah, little diamonds, just working it out in a logical fashion, kind of carving it up.
Least amount
in
of
rectangles and squares.
Even though the lines have pretty much remained the same, does it just feel harder because all of the lines are coming together, or?
No, it's not even really the scale. It's just the difference in it being diagonal opposed to straight, and because I have to hold the quilt block by the corners.
Okay, because it's so close to the edge. Okay.
That's the biggest challenge with this.
Next time I'll put the tiny stuff right in the middle of the block instead of on the edges.
That would be great. That would help immensely.
Okay. Okay, for this itsy bitsy tiny area, if you decide to skip every other line and basically stitch it on a 1/4 inch scale, like we did in this section here, what you'll need to do is maybe stitch back and forth and do all the lines running in one direction, so that way you're sure you get every other one. The way that you stitch this path was really interesting in this area. Kind of breaking it up into rectangles was really cool. But if you try to do it here, I would worry that maybe you might accidentally hit the wrong line.
Yeah, it wouldn't work here at all. I'd have to sketch out line out the grid to see exactly the 1/4 inch scale.
All right. So my personal opinion would be maybe to go this way all the way through, and then once you get all the way done with it, start going the opposite direction through.
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay.
See how dense the stitching is there for all the times I've travel stitched over that area.
And that's okay. You're going to have areas of density, areas of buildup. What I look at it as is more fiber in your quilt, more security. I know that there's a lot of fear of too many layers of thread might rip the fabric or tear a hole in something. I have never experienced that. I've never seen that. In fact, actually just the opposite. I feel like more thread is more security. So that's my opinion about it, at least. And they're so tiny and close together, it's almost like an optical illusion a little bit. You're having trouble placing your needle.
Yeah, it's really tough to see. I could not do this one on 1/8 inch scale.
Just too close together? Too tight?
This is another filler that would have been better to go in the middle.
Really, just too close to the edge?
It's too tough, for at least from my point of view.
It's really fascinating. I design these blocks with my best intentions always, just trying to come up with something that is both interesting and fun to piece, on the easy side of things, of course. And then I'm also trying to create the filler designs in a way where they're also slowly skill building, and those are kind of my challenges as a designer. And it's really interesting seeing it stitched out by a beginner. And I haven't had this. I haven't had the capability of having someone test it and run through it this way before, and it's fascinating to me just to see your opinions, hear your opinions, and see how they stitch out and see how everything works, and know that this is definitely going to affect future quilt-alongs, future patterns that I create. I certainly won't make this mistake again.
And as you can see right here, as I'm getting close to the corner, it's going to be really difficult to get this stitched up here. I'm going to have to change my the way I'm stitching. Yeah, you can see how I went off the line there.
Can I help a little bit?
Maybe
Maybe you put your hands and I help you place your hands?
that
Where I would place mine is maybe somewhere here and be using my index finger to kind of pull. I'm putting pressure and I'm pulling. I'm also having my thumb placed here and I'm kind of pulling down. So my stability is kind of in this area of my hand. Maybe that might help. So maybe bring this.
It's too close to the. I'm not comfortable with that.
You're not comfortable with the movement of the needle. Okay. I totally understand.
I mean, it's just a psychological thing. I think this is going to bash down on my finger, and then I stop focusing on stitching.
On
just watch the
stitching because
needle.
you're worried about the needle hitting you. Okay. I have had comments on YouTube that I have my hands too close to the needle. I had one woman actually yell at me, you know, "You're doing something dangerous. Your hands are too close to the needle." I would say the more that you do this, of course, everybody's going to have a different feeling of comfort with this, but certainly it's something that's going to come with time, your comfort level and understanding where that needle is and where it's coming down, and especially this needle bar, how far that protrudes and where it will hit you and what it will feel like if it does. It has hit me before. It doesn't really hurt that bad.
And now it's just busy work. Finish up.
These grid lines in this building block. This was a very time-consuming block. There are a lot of lines to stitch. So how did you feel about it?
Well, in the last block we did, I felt Leah was kind of hazing us with that micro stippling and 1/8 inch scale. I definitely feel the same about this one, but I cheated. However, using the spoonflower panel cloth, which is great, it kind of gave an optical illusion effect when I was skipping each line, and I had to, be careful and stay on the ball with that.
Yeah, and honestly, the finish looks a little bit like plaid fabric. I think it's really a neat way to finish it. Change this however you need to. Make it your own. If you want to stitch on every single line, that's great. If you want to change it up and you don't agree with how I've designed something, change it and make it what you want. The one thing that I think is good about this is that you have discovered one thing that you don't like about quilting. You don't like stitching densely.
No.
So that's a good thing. Sometimes quilting is huge. It's such a vast hobby. There's so many different aspects to it. Sometimes just simply knowing, hey, I don't like something, I don't like that, is a kind of a nice thing, because then you'll never have to question, never have to wonder about it. So that's one positive side to this block. So my name is Leah Day, and I've been here with my husband Josh, stitching out this block for the Building Blocks Quilt-Along. Pick up your copy of the Building Blocks quilt pattern at leahday.com, or you can pick up some spoonflower cheater cloth fabric that Josh is using at spoonflower.com. Until next time, let's go quilt.